Hello, lovelies! This is part of the speedrunning interview series. I hope you liked the interview. If you do, click the like and sub and comment down below your questions and you might get lucky with getting an answer from the speedrunner. For now, enjoy the interview. Let's try this. Give me a wiggle. Okay, yeah, it's working. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. So on the internet, I'm Macrobioboi. My name is Marco. I was born and raised in the great city of Boston in Massachusetts in the United States. Been streaming for about 3 years straight now, full time. 2 years of speedrunning, 1 year of general content creation. And I play a lot of Diablo 2. And I honestly, all I do is play video games, really, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, you're a full-time streamer.
Yes, it's a full-time job for me. So streamer, YouTube content creator, and then I have a side job, but that's just to pay the bills.
Next question is, when did you start speedrunning? But you said 2 years ago. So let's say, what inspired you to start speedrunning? Do you have this story that, I don't know, you saw something and you started speedrunning because of it?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll go ahead and name drop a bunch of people so they can get their free press. So a long time ago, I was just playing Diablo 2. I was playing a ladder reset, and I was really into watching Super Mario Brothers speedrunning. So I used to watch, and I still watch them, Grand Pooh Bear, Carl Sagan 42, Barbarous King. I loved it very much. And I was sitting there, I used to watch all their speedruns, get really into speedrun.com, and I went, hey, I've been playing Diablo 2. People must speedrun this game. And the first person I ended up watching was Mr. Llama SC. I watched his Sorceress speedrun, which was using really old tech at this point. But I was like, hey, I'm going to try it. Why not? So I wrote down all my little notes on like a napkin. I had all the different Talrash's tombs and their symbols drawn. I gave it a shot. I ran like a 240 Sorceress, which put me somewhere around like 40th on the leaderboard. And I was like, this might be a cool hobby to get into.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it after work every day. So I'd work like 10, 12 hours, come home, do a run, not do well, call it for the night. But yeah, so that kind of kicked it all off, and then eventually went full time with it. So that was 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah. What is the craziest speedrun you have ever done? Do you have one of those?
So I could give you kind of two answers.
Yeah.
One, I would say the thing that I'm probably most known for is actually doing the pacifist speedrun, right? So beating the game without fighting any monsters, having them, actually die by attacking you. So out of all of the meme runs and the ridiculous things that you can do, I take that one very seriously. I think I still have the world record for that one on the Paladin.
Nice.
Inside of that same vein, the craziest speedrun I ever did was actually the pacifist Amazon. Why is that one so crazy? The Amazon does not have a single skill that you can use in that run. She literally just gets hit while wearing bad gear. It was 8.5 hours of a run.
Wow.
And the problem with that speedrun is if you ever attack anything, even if you don't hit, if you don't deal damage, the run is voided. And I did it as this big thank you to my community. They wanted to see me suffer, so I did this run. And 2 minutes before I finished the run, while Bale is attacking me, I ran out of charges on a wand that I was using. Right. And when you run out of charges, it resets you to regular attack. So I took a swipe at Bale, completely missed him, and ruined an 8.5 hour long speedrun attempt. I've never gone back and done it again. I just accepted that I did it and moved on.
Yeah. Wow.
That one was probably the worst, longest, hardest thing. And then other than that, there was this really awesome event that was hosted by Ryu Quetzalcoatl, which was the Slash and Stash. It was played on a pluggy install, so you had a shared stash, and you had to beat the game on normal with every character in a row. Okay. And I think the first time I did that was something like a 16-hour-long speedrun.
Wow.
And that one was rough. By the end of that one, I kind of just ended the stream and passed out immediately.
Yeah, I can imagine. Can I just ask you for the pacifist Amazon? Doesn't the Valkyrie count as you not hitting?
So in the pacifist run, you are not allowed to have a mercenary. You're not allowed to use like gas potions. You're not allowed to use summons.
Right.
You're not allowed to use abilities that would make monsters attack you or attack other people. You can't do anything that is intentionally harming the monster.
Yeah.
So you can't use summons. Nothing at all. You can use a wand that casts weaken, so they do less damage to you. That's something you can do. But it's very, very restricted to what you're allowed to do. Yeah.
Right. You said 16 hours. Do you have a longer than 16 hours? What's your longest time you've done?
Longer than 16 hours. 16 hours is probably the longest set of speedruns I've ever done in a row. The longest single speedrun, a single character, was a 10-hour long Hell Barbarian speedrun.
Yeah.
I had never really done one before. I didn't really know the strats. I was just kind of winging all of it. And I was like, I guess we're doing this today, thinking it would be maybe 7 or 8 hours. So the longest single speedrun was 10 hours. That like kind of marathon event of 7 characters in a row was the longest I've speedran the game. I mean, I've done like 36 hours or so playing when a new season has dropped.
Yeah.
But that's like playing with a team, going for the whole weekend kind of deal.
No, I mean just the single one. Like, the Hell ones, I'm not surprised that the Hell ones are always the longest. But Hell Barbarian.
For sure.
When you have that kind of a long speedrun, how do you cope with the bio needs? Like, do you eat? I guess you drink water. Do you go to pee?
Yeah.
How
do you deal with them? That's a great answer. Or that's a great question, because the answer is you should be a normal human being and get up when you need to get up. That's what you should do. The thing about speedrunning is that you're so focused on it that you tend to kind of ignore that stuff. So, there are a couple instances where it's like, hey, I'm going to have a long loading screen. Forget it. I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say I'm probably not the healthiest when it comes to like extended speedruns and actually getting up when you need to. Because that's time loss.
It is,
That's
beginning,
a couple minutes for time loss.
Yeah, in the beginning when I was starting with the Amazon, my first runs were like 3.5, 4 hours, and I was honing the whole time, and I drink a lot of water, and it was awful. It was awful. So it
doesn't help.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. So I made the mistake of having a hydrate, a stream hydrate thing. You can use channel points to make me drink. And when chat realizes that they have that power over you, they like to abuse it. So, trying to keep them happy, drinking way too much water. You're 3 hours into a run, and you're like, oh God, I'm gonna die. I need to go handle this. But yeah, I'd say most people who speedrun the game, I mean, you'll get up at least once or twice, but a lot of people probably don't have the healthiest habits when it comes to meeting those needs.
What's your favorite act?
My favorite act is Act 3. Now, I know not everybody is going to have that opinion, so I'll try to defend it to the best of my ability.
Okay.
When you really get into speedrunning, there's a lot of cool stuff to learn. Tiles and map layouts and directions and all of that. And the more and more I speedrun Diablo 2, the more I realize that Act 3 is the only one that actually has interesting maps. Like, if your map is going to be super long and annoying, it might as well be interesting. It might as well be engaging. Act 1 is just kind of run in a straight line and take a left every once in a while. Act 2 is run around the borders of a square for a bit. Act 3, you get to count tiles. They're like really important things that you can see in the game that'll save you a second here or there. Being able to make really good decisions down in the sewers and in the Durance of Hate. It's kind of the only one that actually has interesting maps. Everything else is run straight, and when you hit a wall, take a left. So, Act 3 is probably my favorite.
Do you have a favorite character?
Do I have a favorite character? This one, I feel like every time somebody asks me this question, I give a different answer because it's whatever I'm really inspired to play at that moment.
Yeah.
I'd say the Barbarian is probably my favorite, not because he's a big, strong dude who can hit stuff with big axes, although that's definitely a plus, right? Who doesn't love that? he's just really multifaceted. You can build him in so many different ways. He realistically is one of the best wizards in the game with Warcry and like massive SCR.
Yeah.
He's better at being a wolf than the druid is. Like he's a very interesting character that has so many options. And whereas everything else is kind of like there are 2 or 3 builds, you build them the same way every time. If you don't have the best unique weapon or the best rune word, you're not doing it right. So I think the Barbarian's probably my favorite.
Do you have a least favorite then?
Yeah, I hate the Sorceress.
Okay.
Now it's not even for the reasons why you would typically hate the Sorceress. It's not that I think she's overplayed. It's not that I think she's lame or not cool enough or not strong enough. She's obviously incredibly powerful. What I hate about it is that I kind of feel like I'm like doing my daily tasks or a job when I'm playing the Sorceress. Okay. I get these items. I go, in the speedrun, you get to this level, you start to teleport, you teleport through the rest of the game, you kill bosses with static.
Yeah.
There's nothing very interesting there. When you're playing her, in PVM mode, you get your items, you farm Mephisto until you have good stuff, then you build a different class. So that's why I'm, super excited for the changes coming in the new patch, because I really do like the Sorceress. I just don't like how repetitive her gameplay style is. So I'm excited to try out something. Yeah, for speedrunning, especially for speedrunning.
Yeah. Can you describe speedrunning with 3 words?
Frustratingly amazing. Okay. Frustratingly amazing experience.
Okay.
Speedrunning. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. I don't know if you have a follow-up question, but frustratingly amazing experience. Let me add on to that, or why I think it's something like that. Speedrunning is so amazing. It changes how you play a game forever. It changes how you look at games. Now that I started speedrunning Diablo 2, I play other games too. So I play this game called Hollow Knight. I'm just trying weird stuff because I know every game has bugs, every game has glitches, every game has, cheese strategies. And I'm like, I wonder what this game's... Yeah, I wonder how to exploit this game. And when you get really deep into a speedrun, it drastically increases my appreciation for a game and what goes into making that game great and how it works. The other side of it, though, is that as you hit these plateaus, as you learn more and more, there's less to learn, right? Like the mountain top gets closer and closer. And when you get your first world record, you're like, oh, yes, I did it. This elation. Maybe I tried something different and that's going to change what the strategy is. And then the moment that you lose that world record and you go, oh, right, I worked on this for a year or 3 months or a couple weeks. Oh, I have to do that again and I have to get lucky again and it all has to work out again. And that's where that frustration, that lack of motivation comes. But the whole come up is just like something... If you never try speedrunning, I don't really think that you can say that you've experienced games in all the ways they're meant to be played, because it's such a different experience. Yeah.
It is for sure. Have you tried speedrunning in a different game than Diablo?
Have I tried? Yes. Have I succeeded? No. So the first game I ever actually really tried to learn how to speedrun was Super Mario Bros. 3. Because, from the beginning, I've been watching Super Mario Brothers speedrunners. I own an original Nintendo. I own a Super Nintendo. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to learn it. I learned 1-1. I can beat 1-1 in, I think it's 8 or 11 seconds is like the world record, like route through 1-1. I could beat it consistently. It took me about a week to get over the first piranha plant jump. It's literally like the first jump that you make in the game. You have to abuse speed and then get to the top of an arc and then barely clip over this one monster.
Okay.
Took me a week. Did it. Got to 1-2 and gave up. I gave up immediately. It's just like the difficulty ramp for your execution and your inputs just ramped so hard. And I was like, I'm not going to learn 30 levels worth of speedrun techniques. Like, this seems impossible to me. But yeah, like I said, I approach video gaming differently now. I was always kind of a min-maxer, But once you like put this much time into speedrunning one thing, you kind of speedrun every game that you play after that, or at least you learn a trick here or there where you're like, oh, okay, this is what the pros are doing. I'll implement that. But that's the only other game like I've seriously tried learning the speedrun of.
Besides Diablo, do you have a favorite game? Can you say you have a favorite game?
Yeah, I do have a favorite game. It's probably a game that almost no one at this point who's watching YouTube is going to remember, but my favorite game of all time is actually a game called EverQuest. It was like the second or third MMORPG that ever came out, and it was such a phenomenal game. I still play it to this day on private servers, honestly. Yeah. I love the experience so much. It was right when I was getting into like serious gaming. My dad and his friends played it at the same time too, so I got to play it with them. It's when I got my first computer at my house. I helped to build, and it defined so much of what would go on to be the DNA of what kind of games I enjoy and what kind of gameplay styles I enjoy. I love EverQuest. Nice. Like I said, I play it to this. Every like couple of months, I'll make a new character and play it for a month or two, and then get bored with it and move on.
What are the top 3 tips for someone who wants to start speedrunning now?
Who wants to start speedrunning right now?
Yeah.
My first tip would be never reset a run. It's going to be frustrating. You're going to get stuck in places, and it's only by figuring out how to get yourself unstuck from those circumstances that you're going to avoid them in the future. I think a lot of people focus on, oh, I didn't do XYZ exactly perfectly, let me reset, because that's what I saw on the video. The problem is that what you're seeing on the video is that person reacting how they need to react in that moment, with whatever items they had and whatever. So never reset a run until you are, progressively hitting new PBs. Never reset a run. You will thank yourself later. If we're talking specifically about Diablo 2, if you're trying to learn to speedrun right now, do not speedrun the sorceress. This is not because of my hatred of the sorceress. You will not learn anything about this game. She doesn't teach you anything about this game other than drinking potions and FCR breakpoints, which are both really important.
Yeah.
Play the assassin. She goes really fast, a lot of kill speed, really high mobility, and a very fluid gameplay experience. She teaches you how to dodge, and she teaches you how to run through maps. So you won't be as frustrated because you're still going fast, but you're actually going to see the game. What would be my third tip to somebody who wants to start speedrunning right now? Find your motivator and then use that as your catalyst. A lot of people say, don't compare yourself to other runners, only compare yourself against yourself so you don't feel defeated. Other people will say it's all about the competition, so use that to drive you. What motivates you is very particular to you, your DNA, your makeup, your lived experience. So only use that type of motivation. Don't worry about how other people are doing it. If it helps to look at other people's times, do that. Aim for the top. Reach out to them and see if they'll help you.
Yeah.
If you only care about your own progression, then only look at that. Heck, don't even submit them to speedrun until you're proud of whatever time you got. But use your motivator and don't worry so much about how other people are managing it.
Yeah. All of those things makes huge sense. Yes. Yeah.
There are things I wish people told me.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing it. I know all of those questions, or like half of those questions, you probably get asked on a, weekly basis, but still there'll be that one guy or, someone who will see this one video and be like, oh, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's, when I first started, and now I'm just going to gush about all the amazing people who have helped me in this community, because they're all phenomenal. When I first started, it was 2 years straight of only doing normal sorceress speedruns. That's all I did.
Okay.
I watched Llama's videos. My big speedrun senpai, like the person who legitimately sat down with me and was willing to put in time with me and to help me learn, was Indrik. So Indrik, arguably the best person to have ever speedrun the sorceress and one of the strongest speedrunners in the entire history of the game. Indrik was willing to sit down and answer my questions. He sat there neither of us were streaming. He sat there while I did a slow speed run. And anytime I came up with a question, he let me ask it. He would explain what he would do in this situation. And he just sat with me through an entire speed run. There are tons of just like other amazing people. And I'd say probably one of the most important things is literally just reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
There's a bit of, like a celebrity aspect to speedrunning in streamers. This idea of this person is inaccessible, right? I can't possibly talk to them. They're probably so busy, et cetera, et cetera. And they might be.
Yeah.
But when I actually started talking with Teo and started to pick his brain about like, where did speedrunning come from? I sat down with Teo and basically had him explain to me the entire history of speedrunning, which helped me to avoid a lot of the pitfalls. Like, oh, what if I go to try this one? Oh, they used to do this and this is why it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Another great person is Bender Meets Fry, without question the best speedrunner. And every time I came up with something interesting that I was like, wait a minute, why aren't people trying this? I'd go to Bender and, we'll joke about it now, but you could go ask him. I'd just hit him up in the DMs like once a week and I'd be like, have you tried this one? How does this work? Why aren't we doing this? And sometimes I found cool stuff. Sometimes it was something he already tried. But there was just everybody in the Diablo 2 speedrunning community, and I could list all of them, but everybody that runs this game is very, very passionate about it. And wants to talk to other people. Even people who aren't very talkative, you can still reach out to them. Ask them a question. See what they think. And that was one of the most helpful things for me is when I actually started reaching out and talking to people, it wasn't just me trying to redo what I saw and failing at it. It was me actually thinking about how I play the game and how I can actually succeed at getting better at it. Yeah, they're all just fantastic, every single one of them. Honestly, it's probably like the coolest group of speedrunners that I've seen on the internet, just because of how close-knit it is and how very passionate everybody is about it.
If you had unlimited resources, would you live in a different country?
No. So I'm in a relationship and we currently live together, and we've had that conversation of where would you want to live?
Yeah.
The climate in my state, my home state, is we get about 3 months worth of summer, and it's very beautiful summer, and then it's pre-winter, winter, post-winter. So it snows for about 9 months out of the year, and there's 3 months of like really pretty weather, and then it's kind of hit or miss the rest of the time. That doesn't sound great, but that's the worst thing that happens here. We get a decent amount of snow. Every once in a while, a tornado will rip through my hometown. I don't know what's up with that. Like 3 tornadoes have gone through my hometown in my entire life, and there's nothing about my hometown that is like tornado. Tornadoes shouldn't be there. But that's the worst thing that happens. I really like security, knowing where things are, knowing where's the best place to get something, having local connections with people. Like I have a tailor, I have a bakery that I go to. If I need, like handmade pasta done, I have somebody I can go to. So I really like where I'm at right now. I would love to travel more. I haven't traveled nearly enough. So I've traveled to, I've gone to like a vacation spot in Mexico one time, and I've gone to Thailand. Those are the places I've gone in the world. So I'd really like to travel more. And get back to my family in Italy. That would be really nice. But living, I'd live here.
Do you know any other languages besides English? Do you speak anything else?
Un poquito, sí. So, hablo español y italiano. I can say a few things in Thai. So, sawadi is hello. Kapkun krap is how you say thank you, but as a masculine individual. Kumpud pasa angkrit daimai is do you speak English? And I needed those when I was traveling. Yeah. I speak a lot more Spanish. I studied that in school, and I used to work with individuals from Guatemala. Nice. We were all landscapers, so I have like a decent hold on Spanish, but I can hear it and listen to it better than I can actually speak it.
Yeah.
And then Italian, my family is first generation off the boat from Italy here in the United States, but my grandfather wanted my dad to speak English and, be American, all of that. So he never really learned it. So I actually speak more Italian than my father does, which is kind of funny since he's, the first generation child, but not that much. It's kind of all mixed up in Spanish for me now at this point.
What do you do in your free time? If you had like a week off, what would you do?
Oh, just go absolutely bouncing off the walls insane if I didn't have work to do. And that's generally unhealthy. I'm working on remembering the fact that I had hobbies outside of just streaming and content creation. But I mean, the reason why I do what I do now is because I'm a big nerd. So I play Magic the Gathering, I play D&D, I do live action roleplay, which is probably my biggest hobby. We do like 8 events a year, so I can't do it all the time, but I love that so much. Getting dressed up, role-playing as a character for the whole weekend, the martial combat of it, I'm a big fan of. Yeah, just read a lot. I also want to get back into reading. When I was a kid, I used to read like 4 or 5 books at the same time. I would just leave them in different parts of the house, and then whenever I was there and had time to kill, I would read that book. And nowadays, I'm probably only reading maybe 5 books a year, and I'd like to get more into that as well. And then parkour.
Okay.
So
Those are
I was
completely different. Yeah. All over the place.
It makes sense because, I liked D&D, and I liked, this cool rogue who can flip through the rafters and do this special attack. Yeah. So I want to be able to do that in the real world, right? But I was a parkour instructor in college. I've gone out to Red Bull events for it, and it was a big part of my life that nowadays I can just kind of do some tricks and kind of look cool while I, jump over something. But I'd like to get more into that as well.
What is something your audience doesn't know about you? I guess all of that stuff.
Yeah, well, that's really hard. I'm very, very, as you said before, I'm just very open. I'm very open with my audience. What is something that my audience doesn't know about me that I want you and your audience to know about me? Geez. Nothing. I wish I could give you something. I'm a very, very open book, so people ask me questions all the time. I'll give you a fun fact. How about that?
Sure. Yeah.
When I was younger, me and my friends, we were, early high school years. We had stayed up all night, which was a cool thing you could do when you were young, because that was one of the only rebellious things you can do. And it was 8 a.m, and we got on our bikes and we drove down to the local Dunkin' Donuts. It's this local coffee place. Well, it's a chain coffee place, but I have 9 of them in my hometown. It's absolutely a problem. Then we go down to the local Dunkin' Donuts, and I got a Snapple iced tea bottle, and I put that in my pocket, and we're riding back. And we're doing something, I think we call it bombing the hill. There's a really steep hill. So you would go down it, but take your hands off your handlebars. And it was like being on a roller coaster.
Right.
I get to the bottom of the hill and I hit a patch of gravel and I flip the bike. Yo. Me and the whole bike flipped 180 degrees. I hit the ground. The bottle shatters in my pocket. It's a glass bottle. And I feel a wetness spread down my leg very quickly. Now, for people who don't know anatomy, there are very big arteries in your legs.
Yep.
And if you shatter a glass bottle on your leg, and then your whole pant leg becomes wet very quickly and you feel a sharp pain, I thought I had severed my artery. I thought I wasn't going to make it. I stood up. My pants were destroyed. All of my pants were torn to shreds.
Yo, okay.
I wasn't really bleeding that bad. Honestly, the cut wasn't that bad. It's just, It was a bottle full of tea. So now I was just covered in shattered glass and tea. But for a split second, I thought I was dying.
I can understand.
Yeah. We went back to my friend's house. I jumped in his jacuzzi tub because I thought hot water would keep it clean. Don't do that, by the way. Jacuzzis are very gross. They're very bacteria laden. So I took a bath in a jacuzzi tub, and then we just kept hanging out for the rest of the day. My bike was destroyed. I didn't own that bike anymore. I needed new pants. I don't think I've ever told that story before, but that was the day a bottle of tea made me think I wasn't going to make it.
That's
There
a
you
great
go.
story. And don't keep your bottles in your pockets, right?
Yeah, just, hey, kids, can I talk to the kids for a second?
Yeah.
Kids, be safe out there. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, on the bike handles. Just be safe. You don't want to be like me and ruin your bike forever and ruin your pants and think you're dying. So there's our the more you know.
Who should I invite? Who should I consider inviting to a speedrunner interview? Who of the other speedrunners would you recommend?
Who of the other speedrunners would I recommend? Because I know all of them. I'm friends with all of them. So you gotta get Macabre. Have you reached out to Macabre?
Yeah, he's my coach. I mean, he's the first person that I spoke with when when I started doing this.
Macabre,
okay.
I don't know how this happened. But Macabre is a very serious speedrunner.
Yeah, tell me
He's very
about
good at
him.
speedrunning. He's very good at speedrunning. Obviously, the two things he focuses the most on is Barbarian and the Amazon. What I love about him is that I think a lot of speedrunners just see Bender get a good time and they go, okay, Bender has ruined that run forever. And Macabre is like, no, I don't care how good we all think he is. I'm going to beat that time. And I really, really respect that. With that being said, Macabre is, for whatever reason, like a walking meme in the community. And I mean this with all of the love in my heart. Macabre has his own like special designation in my Discord. That's just Macabre. So when he's online, you see all the people who are Macabre and it's only him. He has his own channel in my Discord. Because for a long time he didn't have his own Discord. And he was like, hey, can I post stuff in yours? I was like, yeah, absolutely. But at this point, he has his own, he doesn't worry about that anymore, but I keep it there. That's his own little special Discord channel, where every once in a while, I'll just post something cute about Macabre. He's just, I don't know, man, he's just so lovable. And I feel like the people who watch Diablo 2 speedrunners just get like such a kick out of the personality that he is. So if you weren't already going to get Macabre, I would say Macabre. But since you already are going to get him, I want to give a different answer too. The only other person I would say is, if you haven't thought about reaching out to them, would be Blazer Flamewing. Blazer Flamewing is a phenomenal runner of the game. They're a person who I went back and forth over the Pacifist World Record with for a very long time. They're one of the only other people who actually runs the category and took it seriously. And I super appreciate them. They're only here like once every other month because they're in the armed services. So they're on shore leave, once every other month. But if you can get them, they're also like a fantastic personality.
Do you want to say anything else, like as a end line? I don't know.
As an end line, I super appreciate you reaching out to me. I think this is a really cool series, so I'm very excited to see what other people say, honestly.
Yeah.
I really love stuff like this because speedrunning the game isn't just about the times, it's about the people who do it too, right? And it's the people who care about it and the history of that. So I think it's really important to at least get some of that information down into a media form that will outlive us. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, for replying to all of the stupid questions, and for giving your time to me.
Of course. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to fade away. Goodbye, everybody. Yes. I appreciate you.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. I will see you next Wednesday for more interviews. Don't forget to like and sub and comment down below. See you. Bye.